So I totally did not plan on making a video today, but Anthony and I were out and about. We ended up coming to Barnes & Noble and I bought a ton of books. So you're gonna kind of see me go back in and we're gonna backtrack and you're see me buy some books. We might end up going to Half Price Books too, since we're already buying books. And then I'll do a haul later when I get back.
It's a new day for a high. It's another day to try to get by.
Horror book about a store that's like IKEA. I don't know if it has the greatest reviews, but I thought it was like super interesting. Here we go. I feel like I should get the Barnes & Noble exclusive for my vampire books because this is the OG. This is where it came from. The Kind Worth Killing. I've heard that it's really good. I'm getting it. Let me get the best copy. Am I the only one who like has to get the best copy possible? I'm currently reading the first book in the series, but there's a Barnes & Noble exclusive and it has the sprayed edges. It's interesting. Oh, dang, should I get it? I'm gonna get it. Anthony and I have been rewatching Twilight. I don't even know how to explain it. It's cringe, but like cult classic style cringe. It's entertaining and like...
The way I describe it is as fast food.
Yes.
It'll get you full. You might enjoy it, but it might not be good for you.
I really wanted the second Ender's Game book, Speaker for the Dead, because the first book, Ender's Game, is literally one of my favorite books of all time. I've heard a lot of people say that this one's even better, which is crazy. I have to read it, I have to see it. Is that the only copy they have? It's like, I hate when they're all crumpled and you buy a brand new copy and it's crumpled and then it's all they have, but it's okay. It looks cool, right? Why is this cover like drawing me in? I love Mistborn. The first one was a 5-star. The second one was okay, but I feel like it dragged a little bit. I haven't finished the last one, the last book. This is another one I started and didn't finish, The Name of the Wind. I don't know why, I just like, it didn't start off bad, but I was listening through audiobook and for some reason in my mind I was like, oh my gosh, do I really want to commit to this giant fantasy book right now? And so then I stopped, but it was interesting enough. So I need to go back one day and actually finish it. Oh, wow, look at it.
That looks so
That
cool.
is really cool.
How much is it?
105.
100 and no.
It's crazy that Neil Gaiman is like in the classics section, but he's just like wrote Coraline and just like, he's still like doing stuff to this day. Like he's not like old or anything, like that old. Look, The Night Circus. I have that one. Why am I kind of considering that version of Dracula? What do you think? The one I have is better or that one? I'm struggling because like this one is like a cool cover to me, but I feel like this one feels very classic. What do you think, Anthony? What do you think's cooler? So since I got to buy a ton of books, Anthony got to buy a Magneto helmet. I feel like this looks like a beer or something, but it's just coconut water. Everybody loves this book. I did not enjoy it that much. I felt bored. A noir masterpiece. 1970s Mexico City. I didn't even read what it was about. I wanted it for the setting. I don't know why that cover looks like Twilight. Literally them in the field.
Yeah.
The Reformed Vampire Support Group? What? What is that? I really want to read the Inheritance Game series. A new book just came out. I wanted to get a physical copy of these books. I love the anime Cowboy Bebop. I actually never watched in its entirety the live action, but like the clips and scenes I saw, I wasn't a fan of. But the anime is so good. Literally one of my favorite animes of all time. So I'm back home from shopping for books. So let's do a little book haul of all of the ones I got. Overall, I got a total of 16 books, both from Barnes & Noble and Half Price Books. So starting with the ones I got from Barnes & Noble, I picked up Speaker for the Dead, which is the sequel in the Ender's Game series. I love Ender's Game. The first book It was a 5-star read for me. Loved it, loved it, loved it. I have been wanting to get the sequel. I actually read Ender's Game, the first book, in another video that I have been filming for a little while. It's a little bit different for a book video, so I'm excited to show you all that one. But this is the sequel to that book. Can't wait. House of Roots and Ruin. So I'm actually currently reading the first book in this series on Kindle. I'm really, really enjoying it. I feel like it's gonna end up being like a 4-star. I'm almost done with it. Kind of like spooky fairy tale. It's perfect for fall, like for spooky season, if you're in the mood for a fantasy book that fits that kind of vibe. It has kind of like this manor, kind of secluded. It's on an island, but there's a lot of fantasy elements, but a lot of gothic elements as well. It's also young adult, so it's not too scary, but it is pretty spooky, I will say. It also has these gorgeous sprayed edges, which I am a sucker for sprayed edges. Fourth Wing started it because I couldn't get my hands on that copy. So now when I see sprayed edges, I just feel the need to get it. I also really wanted to read the second book in the series because I'm really enjoying the first one. Then I got Fable and Namesake. I have read both of these books. I have just wanted the physical copies for a very long time because both of them have such gorgeous covers. They're gorgeous together. I want to display them on my bookshelves. Something about the story in these books just is so special to me. I think I just really love the father-daughter element as well. It just feels very personal and it made me cry. Next, I got Dracula. I have been wanting this book for a while, especially because I want to read vampire books for a week. I want to make a video doing that. I feel like that'd be super fun for October. I couldn't decide between this copy and the more traditional classic Barnes & Noble copy that they have. I went with this one though. I really love this cover so much. It's kind of like a modern take on it. Then I have The Kind Worth Killing. This is a thriller. I've heard really, really great things about this one. I actually wasn't planning to get it, but I saw it and then it sparked my memory. It's one that I had been wanting for a while, so I got it. Then I have the Folk of the Air trilogy. A lot of people also call this the Cruel Prince trilogy. I have already read these. I read them on Kindle, but I wanted the physical copy for my collection, and I do plan on rereading these as well as her new book she came out with. Now on to the Half Price Books haul over here. I've said this before in a video, but I love a good deal on books. Half Price Books, sometimes you can really find some hidden gems. The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. I've heard a lot of people saying that they really, really loved this book. It's a clean romance, so there's no spice. A lot of people say it's really cute and sweet, and I wanted to check it out. It kind of reminded me of the movie with Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner. I mean, I haven't read it yet, but just from the title. So we'll see if it's like that. I really like that movie though. I got this for $9.99. It's in really, really great condition. It pretty much looks new. Mine is like a little bit of scuffing right here. At Barnes & Noble, this is currently going for $21.99. So great deal. I also got The Cheat Sheet. This is another clean romance, no spice. This is a sports romance. A lot of people say this is also super, super cute. I don't like a ton of contemporary romance. Like, I mean, I'm still always willing to try them, but I end up not liking a lot of them. But you know what? I'm just gonna keep trying them because there's some I do like. Some definitely stick with me, but a lot of them I just feel like they're just okay. So I got this one for $8.49, and at Barnes & Noble right now it is $17. So then I got The Grace Year. I've heard a lot of other booktubers talk about this one. I think it's like a fantasy dystopian type young adult book. I think it has to do with when these girls turn 16, they get banished out into the woods to survive for a year. Something like that. I could be completely wrong, but that concept sounds super interesting and I wanted to give it a try. And this one I got for $7.99, which is about half the price for what it is currently listed at on the Barnes & Noble website. The Wrath and the Dawn and The Rose and the Dagger. So this book, The Wrath and the Dawn, was a 5-star read for me. When I first read it, I initially gave it 4 stars, but then I just kept thinking about it. I kept thinking about the characters. When that happens to me, I'm like, you know what? I feel like that's a 5-star read, especially for something like this one. It's a young adult fantasy book and it's a take on the 1001 Nights folktale. And this is the sequel to it. I actually started reading it. I never finished it, not because I didn't like it. I don't know what happened. I just ended up reading something else instead, but I definitely want to finish it and I wanted to own the physical copies of these books. So for these two, I ended up saving almost $20, buying them from Half Price Books, and they're in pretty good condition. Then I got the Inheritance Games, the first book in this series. I hear so many people talking about this. This is a big book talk one. I've heard it compared to The Hunger Games, and I also just read the back and it says it takes place in the mysterious world of Texas billionaires. I had no idea this takes place in Texas. which is really cool because I'm from Texas. This copy literally looks brand new and I saved $7 getting it from Half Price Books. Lastly, I got Velvet Was the Night. I have another book from this author. I think it's called The Beautiful Ones that I haven't read yet. She also wrote Mexican Gothic. I read the synopsis and it said it is a noir set in Mexico City in the 1970s, and that just sounded like something I immediately wanted to read. So I got it, and the cover is gorgeous, and I'm a sucker for gorgeous covers. I got this one for $13.49 at Half Price Books, and at Barnes & Noble it is currently going for $22.49. Well, thank y'all so much for watching. I'm definitely probably gonna be doing some more book hauls because I have so much space on my shelves in this new book room, which I'm super excited about. As you can tell, I'm in a different setting now. If you haven't seen my book room setup, my new book room setup, go check out that video. But I have 3 shelves that have a ton of space on them, so I'm needing to fill them up. I'm definitely gonna be doing videos more frequently in the future, so make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you next time.